Ancient elite fallen angel worm ritual, new devil worms, immortal worms, worm moons, and real angelic dragon tech. Let's go down a fascinating rabbit hole. Well, wormhole. Funny how worms and dragons have the same etymology if you search into it, and a wormhole, sort of like a dragon portal for dragons and angelic beings to fall through. Possibly even like Jacob's ladder. Also technology to just come right through walls, or seeing how angels or other spirits manifest. And certain of those beings are serpentine, wormholes. Also the internet as a digital portal, which we'll be coming back to later. Worm, dragon, demon, all in the common thread, also with a link to parasites. Bible verses about immortal worms in hell that never die, part of torment. And even Jesus quoted the prophet David, who was referring to Jesus, saying, "I am a worm," or "I have become a worm in the sight of God." Jesus as a worm on the cross tree is a direct flashback to the serpent, worm, dragon on the tree that deceived mankind and him redeeming it. That's why he said, "I have become a worm." Wyvern segue, which is another name for worm or dragon back in the day. Dragon species, check out some of these pics. Also the new devil worm. Also the lindworm, which is a sea serpent. Is the Loch Ness Monster a sea serpent dragon, just a form of a sea dragon basically? Another kind of a leviathan, but much lesser. All the sea dragon lore, dinosaur hoaxes, all part of a dragon fallen angel cover-up. I'm wondering how Champy and these other beasts and other dinosaurs all play into this. Dinosaurs was another name for dragon back in the day, by the way. Legends of Hydra and other sea dragons as well. Lots of species of sea dragons and dragons in general. The electric eel is also one of these sea serpent creatures that I find fascinating, and along with octopuses, dolphins, and whales, are probably some sort of high-intelligent Nephilim creation. Quick wormhole about electric eels. I saw a clip of how they hunted together one time, and how they send out these electric pulses from their body, which is totally spiritual, and how they electrocute any fish traveling down the river, and they all gang swarm them like demons basically. Are you gangster enough to survive the electrical pulses of the demons in the atmosphere? Electric eels, like nature, can tell you a lot about the spirit realm. Just ask Solomon about ants. Also haunting desert legends of these huge underground worms all throughout the Middle East. You've even seen this in the movies like Dune and other movies. Probably related to the worms in hell that I mentioned. And aside from dinosaurs, I've covered before how real saints have tons of legends or stories or history about killing real dragons and saving tons of towns all over the world. Mad species of dragons, including lion-faced dragons and other ones, they're just a form of fallen angel, serpent, anything with the serpent DNA mixed with other animals. Also, lots of these are based off of cherubim remixes, and you'll see guardians all over the world with the same features. Lots of duplicates and remixes down the lineage of time, even digital, alchemical, spiritual technology. Moving right into digital parasite possession. Demonic worm, digital hive mind, mental possession, addictive patterns of apps always calling out to users' heads thinking about notifications, which are designed in the best way to stimulate your quantum essence in the most addictive manner possible. Notification sigils engineered precisely. And this technology is even on a spiritual level to be able to amalgamate or merge quantum brain and thoughts from you. Future plug about quantum Solomon technology, all based on the temple. It's probably in your brain. Speaking of Solomon, I've told you about worms he employed called shemirs. But also earworms are another form of this digital possession technology. Earworms are part of music. They're the catchy loop that you can't get out of your head. All of a sudden you hear it in your head, it's stuck, and it's in there. It's called an earworm. This is specifically designed, witchcrafted technology. Also tying into things like Pan and the Pied Piper. All this nanotechnology, OI, brain organoids, scientists commanding DNA through electricity. There's lots of invisible nano warfare at hand, and lots of these digital worms employed. Which brings us into the fasting solution for a brief moment. Fasting, the secret weapon against these worms. Probably why there's missing Bible verses that I've covered about fasting and the relation to these worms, parasites, and demons. And how parasites exactly resemble demons, and urges that you have may be coming from parasites. Certain people only appear attractive to other people because parasites make them appear attractive that way. It's basically demons want to merge with the other demons. Their demons want to communicate and merge and have lines with other people's demons. So they send thought communications in the form of urges, or sometimes even false dreams, to make people think about other people. Or whisper them thoughts all day to do their will, just the same way a parasite does when it takes over a host. Watch out for impulses and urges, and guard your dreams. And learn about the secret weapon of fasting, which I'll come back to in the future. The Illuminati worm and the Egyptian Ankh ancient worm ceremony. What is this worm doing here where they put the Ankh to the nostrils? Opening of the third eye through electrical stimulation, and then they also have this worm which would go in the nose or the eye. Think about the Illuminati Black Eye Club and how this ritual is still rumored to be part of the selling your soul, elite behind the scenes rituals. This is also what modern technology is doing. It's opening the third eye through electrical impulses and quantum spiritual technology that we don't understand. This is even what was covered in movies like The Lawnmower Man, where things make their way into fiction, but about how VR opens up and stimulates the brain, the third eye, and creates portals to other worlds inside of you. This is what we're doing all day with exposure to the smartphone, quantum tower, matrix, which you'll see homage paying to by covering up one of the eyes as one of the most common symbols. And even names of people like Lisa Left Eye Lopez back in the day were all references to this. Being possessed by the ultimate worm dragon, and even giving your eye to him. This is also related to the ancient Seal of Solomon grimoire, which I've covered plenty on, and ancient shields and crests, all with the same pattern with one eye closed. It all goes back to ancient Egyptian, Mystery Babylon, secret society schools, and rites of passage and league with fallen angels. But as many destructive worms there are, you even see Job being plagued by worms. God has the most dominant worms, even Moses' staff turning into the biggest serpent. But even in times of war, things like the angel glow worms, very specific glowing worms, bacteria that showed up at the right time to heal soldiers, is a fascinating supernatural mystery. Again, all of these worm angelic technology that you've seen evidence of. Spiritual organoid program tech, even viruses coming in on asteroids are said to have little tiny organoids like worms. Wormwood, the asteroid, plug on my page, which I've just covered. All transitioning in close to the worm moon, which is what every March, based on Mars energy, the full moon in March is called the worm moon, and how parasites also have the highest activity on full moon cycles. This is all related, which you'll also see demonic activity, witchcraft, and rituals also with the same moon cycle. Learn to fast spiritual warfare and remember the fate of the dragon, the Leviathan, getting sorted out by the Messiah, Yeshua. See you next time on The Savage Truth.